Welcome to the Immortal Podcast, Episode 8, where Nemo and I are here today to discuss Diablo Immortal, to discuss BlizzCon Online, to talk about the investor call that Blizzard just had just a few days ago. We have new predictions for you guys about the release date of Diablo Immortal. We're looking forward to it even more than ever. We have a little bit of hype in our minds right now. And, well, Nemo, what's going on, man? How you doing today? Thanks for coming and hanging out for the podcast.
I am super excited, super fun. We got a lot of news today. This is great. What a way to start a Sunday, huh? We have a lot to talk about. So I've been figured, let's get to it.
Yeah, so let me remind everyone that's here right now, either watching it as a video, because this will be a video on my YouTube channel after it's live, or if you're watching it live, we have a couple of topics that we're going to be talking about with you guys, but this show is beautiful because you guys could ask the questions that you have live. Your questions are meant to drive this show, so anything that you have about Diablo Immortal, whether they've been answered in the past, you could ask them again, or if you have some ideas, concepts, we could discuss them here with you today. But yeah, that is the plan. I do have some gameplay footage that we could pop in the background for you guys as well, so you can just kind of not only look at our faces, but also look at some Diablo Immortal. The gameplay we're looking at is actually some high-level wizard gameplay supplied to me by my good friend, Captain Nemo, from the Scrappy Academy YouTube channel, which he's actually repping on his shirt right now, actually one of his clans in Clash of Clans. But so Nemo, let's start off with talking about the investor call. We had this investor call. We tuned in. To be honest, the investor calls are not the most exciting things to listen to. It's all about, how much money the company's making, how successful they've been, plans, things like that. So it's like a business call. But from these calls, we can get some good information and ideas and kind of theorize when we think things are going to happen. So I'm going to put out a reminder right now, Nemo, as to what I thought was going to be happening for release dates. Before I get into that, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and ring the bell for daily Diablo Immortal videos. And not only that, make sure you head on over to Nemo's channel. It's going to be linked in the description of this video, and check out his Diablo Immortal videos as well. If you like them, subscribe to him as well, because not only is he a good guy, he also knows a lot about this game, and he's basically my right-hand man, and we're partners in crime. Although we don't do crime, it's just partners. Now I'm getting cheesy. All right, so my initial predictions, Nemo, before the investor call was, I predicted we'd get a version of beta in June and that we'd have a release of Diablo Immortal in December, which is 10 months away, 11 months away. And that was like, okay, another 11 months of making content with no game. Now we'd get it for a little bit for beta, but then, the game would be gone. What was your prediction before the investor call? What were your thoughts then?
Well, I remember we actually had this conversation. I got like 15 DMs back. Afterwards, people were like, "What are you talking?" I was predicting next year, and people were like ready to kill me.
Yeah.
DM, but I said like maybe like for next year's like Christmas present. I said as far as the full release.
Okay, and well, in the investor call, and Nemo and I both put videos out on this, but now we're live. So now we talk about it on the official Immortal podcast that comes at you guys bi-weekly. Until we have the game in our hands again, then it'll be weekly again. My predictions have changed because in the investor call, they mentioned that now remember, in an investor call, you're talking to your investors, people giving you money. You need to deliver on the words that you say. So you don't say something that you're not positive can happen. And in the call, they'd mentioned something about beta coming later this year, and the Diablo Immortal will be released later this year. Now, I don't remember, Nemo, and you could remind me if there's something that I am forgetting. Did they actually give a quarter with the release, or was it more just like later this year?
So on the call, one thing that you mentioned is a good thing to echo back. I like going after you and saying I'm going to echo some stuff that you say. I don't know why.
You're promoting me, man.
That's what it is. It's at heart. But I remember, like, one thing that's very important. They do not, when you make a promise to the investors, it's very important to keep it, right? So when they're saying stuff at the investor calls, at these financial calls, which happen, once every quarter, right? So 4 times a year, they are so very, very careful. It's like almost like walking on glass, right? They got to make sure that they deliver on all the promises, because if they don't, as soon as they don't deliver on one, the stock goes down, and that's not good. So what they stated was that there was going to be, and I looked at this, I played this back, I don't know many times. There's going to be multiple tests, not just one beta.
Right.
From what it sounded like, They said there's going to be multiple tests after this alpha that just concluded, the technical alpha that we just did. There's going to be multiple tests, and then it's going to be followed by the release at some point this year. It didn't state when.
Right. So to me, that means one thing. It means a few things, actually. Well, first of all, we're going to be getting beta back. Now, we don't know how they're going to launch the beta. Are they going to launch it regionally? Are they going to launch beta globally? They need to not only test the systems, but they need to test the servers. We're talking about an open world where there's going to be tens of thousands of people on a server. They need to make sure that they have the processes and the equipment in place to run all of this. So they have to basically stress test the system. And that's something that they're going to be doing as part of the beta, I assume. And then of course they're still testing out game features, getting feedback. Now we gave them a ton of feedback in the technical alpha, but there's going to be more because they're going to be broadening it out to a larger audience. I mean, we've talked about this a lot on my channel. I feel like I need to put out another video on it, but I've talked a lot about what I want to see in PvP, because I think that's going to be the heart of any game that shows long-term success. It's going to be PvP. So I'm really curious to see if they get some of that out in the beta as well. Plus, of course, the long-awaited Necromancer and Crusader, which, you know, here's the problem. I told Nemo that I'm going to be playing the Necromancer because I want to play it first. So Nemo said, okay, Echo, I'll play the Crusader first. The problem is I like melee characters like the Barbarian, and he likes wizard-like characters. So really we're playing opposite of what our favorites are, but I really just wanted to do the Necro, and I said, listen, Nemo, you can't play the Necro first. You can't. Yeah, I'm taking it. I stamped it, and well, I mean, he could do whatever he wants really, but so with all this said, with the multiple phases of beta, the most important part of this is the investors. Blizzard would not promise their investors, their people supporting the development of this game, that it's going to be out this year if they were planning on it dropping in December. If they were to say, if in Blizzard's mind, if in the Diablo Immortal team's mind, they were saying this is going to drop December 1st, that only gives them 31 days, actually 30 days to deliver on the this year promise. And when you're talking about investors investing millions of dollars into a project, I personally, especially during COVID times, don't think that's enough of a cushion to feel comfortable. I mean, we're talking, 10 months from now. Can they really be positive that it's going to deliver, if they had December 1st in mind, that it would deliver in those 30 days? I think that's a bit of a risk, especially because of what we've seen. Like, the world went on lockdown, everything slowed down, including development of this game as well, I'm sure, because everyone had to get accumulated to working at home. So because I think they don't want to put themselves in a pinch, I think that the game is actually going to be more ready the beginning of the fall. So I'm talking September, October time, because then if they say, okay, we're ready to go October 1st, and that's in their mind, October 1st, that gives them 3 months in case a wave of COVID happens. Maybe someone from the Diablo team quits that's vital in creating this, and they need to replace that person. Well, that's not an excuse for the investors. They're going to still want that game. They want that return on investment. So they need to deal with that. So they need to keep in place, safeguards just in case something happens, because you never do know. So my new prediction is beta in, man, I'm thinking like March, April, and maybe followed by another beta in the summer. And then I'm going to expect release. I'm saying September, October. I'm saying early fall is going to be, well, I'll say fall. That's going to be my prediction for the full release of Diablo Immortal. Nemo, how do you feel? I mean, I feel like my predictions are so fire that you have to be on the same page as me.
Your predictions are always fire, I do have to say. I will echo what you said. On top of that, I will say that just from the software development aspect of things, I do work in tech, and I know kind of how things work. On top of what you said, what people always do when it comes to project management and when you are pushing out any kind of software, you build up. And when you're releasing software, you never want to release it right before the holidays, because that's when most of the team goes on vacation. If there are any kind of issues or problems, you want the team to be there for launch and to be there to support in case there are issues or problems. Because when you go global with this type of production launch, you're definitely going to run into some sort of bugs. So sort of like when things go live, you want all hands on deck, ready to go and attack any problem you have. So they're definitely going to be launching before the holidays, and I think way before the holidays. So with what you said in this, my prediction, to be honest with you, is the launch for the game is going to be in August, and I think we're getting beta sometime in March.
Wow.
That's what
I like your prediction more. Your prediction is better than mine, at least for my personal selfishness. I mean, the sooner we can get the game, the better. And I'm looking through the chat right now. I want to give a few shout outs right now because we have some people that have been amazing supporters. One of those people is Nineball. He's our veteran lore person. We actually have to have him back and talk some more Diablo Immortal lore, whether it be in a video or on the podcast again. We have Madness, who's just a supporter of all of our channels. And we have Red October, who I've been realizing from my Discord server, it's linked down below if you guys want to join. Red October is like pretty into this Diablo Immortal stuff and very knowledgeable about everything. So I was actually speaking with him last night about some concepts as well. So much love, man, and thanks for all of you guys coming through, plus everyone else that's deciding to be here right now. I'm just looking at Twitch right now, but we also have a big family coming through over on YouTube as well. So release dates are out of the way, right? We've put our predictions there for when we think the releases are going to happen. But Nemo, now we have to talk about other things like classes, beta. Are we going to see, because we haven't seen much yet from a Necromancer or a Crusader, how far along do you think the development is of those classes? Like, we've seen them used, right? Like, we've seen them played, they're playable, but just not by us. And Dread drops in right now too. Dread heard me giving shout outs to everyone, so he said, let me say hi so I can get a shout out too. I think that was his thought process right there. What's up, buddy? How you doing? So what do you think about that? Do you think that they have the Crusader and Necromancer all cooked up, ready to roll and ready to drop?
This is my one mystery about this. I've been thinking about this for days now, and after the date and all that, I started thinking, wait a minute. So if they're going to release it this year, they're talking about it, they got to have those classes be done. And I wonder why they weren't in the alpha. I really don't know, and I really do not have an answer to that. I mean, maybe they didn't have some stuff done, but to be honest with you, if the game is being Blizzard too, I mean, they like stuff polished. So if the game is releasing in this year, I feel like those classes are done. Everything is set. I think they're done. I'm pretty sure like all of the game stuff, development part at least, maybe at this point they're, like I said, polishing out and doing bugs. But I feel like if they're gonna say we're releasing the game, I feel like all of that other stuff, the meat of the game is definitely over and done.
Yeah, and it's funny because, I mean, even us, like we speak with Blizzard, we kind of have a know of what's happening. We haven't heard anything about those classes. Like, I also haven't asked the questions, but it's not like they've said, you know, secretly, oh, we got these classes done, we're just not showing anyone yet. Like, we don't know where it is. And I mean, the Necromancer is the most highly anticipated class for Diablo Immortal, and probably going to be the most highly anticipated for Diablo 4 as well. So that's something that everyone wants to know. By the way, we also have AES here as well, who just helped reformat my Discord server yesterday with Nemo. So thank you guys so much. It's looking great. So we think, Nemo thinks that those classes are ready. For me, I honestly don't have a prediction because I don't have a hint here or there. I know that they must have it. It, for some reason, must not be as polished as they want it, or else it would have been in the technical alpha. But they did say that it's going to release with the game, those classes, and any further classes that we get in the future will be released, and they'll be released for free, which is nice to hear as well, because everyone loves hearing that more classes could be coming to the game, future content, etc., etc. So, Nemo, do we have any questions or comments that we want to grab from the chats right now?
We have a lot of questions actually. Well, really quick right off the top, Caffeine asked, am I using the wizard, the teleport with the wizard? So I did use the teleport with the Lightning Nova. That is a cool skill, right? Because if you can use the Lightning Nova and then teleport to a different location, all of those bolts come out and clean stuff out. So I have used it, just not in this video. As far as there were some questions. Justin asked about the communication with the development team. We do have some communication with the dev team. Maybe Echo, you could talk about that. We actually have a few. We had an AMA with them, and they did do a presentation of Diablo Immortal before it came out, sort of like as a technical alpha.
Yes.
You want to say anything about that?
Yeah, sure. So like Blizzard, they have their group. They have their group of content creators, or their mobile guys, which is like me and Nemo, and so a couple of others as well. Greg is one of them. They have They're veteran Diablo people. So like we got Dread, we got Nineball, you got Riker, you got Bloodshed, you know, all those people and a bunch more. And we have this small community of people that get to have these conversations with Blizzard saying, you know, this needs a little work, or this is awesome, or you're on the right track here, or I have this idea. So yes, we do have communication with Blizzard in that way. Now, are we on phone calls every day with them and all that? I mean, I can speak for myself and say, no, I'm not. Plus, there's things that they don't want to reveal to even us. So it's not like we have all this info, like we know the release date of Diablo Immortal and we're not telling you because, well, that's just not a thing. So yes, we have communication. If I ever have any great ideas, I could send them to them, which is awesome. Plus, they watch the content. They watch the Immortal podcast. So when they see your name and they hear your questions, they're actually hearing from the community, which is really cool. We got a lot of support with them there. Now, I do see another question about pets in the game. And I'm going to add to that. That's actually from Kevin Gores asking, are there going to be pets? I'm going to add on to that with wings as well, because we're talking about like cosmetic-like things. Because pets, we could consider them cosmetic. They do collecting for you. They don't really, at least in the past, give you any buffs or anything like that. But I mean, I would love a pet personally, just because I don't want to have to run around and scurry to get stuff. You know, it's nice to have a pet, just kind of follow them behind you and you don't have to worry about gathering up all your stuff. Now, it would be cool, and this is just a concept. I don't know if it would be good or not, but it would be cool if you could unlock pets that would give you buffs as well. Now, they would have to do this in a smooth way because it couldn't be a purchasable pet, because that would be considered a pay-to-win element. If you were to be able to purchase a pet that would give you, 5% more melee damage and free-to-play players couldn't get that, that's an element of pay-to-win. So you'd get a 5% advantage over someone that's free-to-play. So pets, if you were to give them advantages and buffs and things like that, they'd need to be attained free. You could obviously purchase them too, but you have to be able to unlock them for free. Maybe that could be like something on the battle pass. Like at the end of the battle pass, you get a pet. Or I also think you should, at the end of the battle pass, get a skin or a cosmetic, which could be wings, which could be just a skin for a hero. So like this month, the Barbarian has a new skin. If you complete the free, the paid version of the battle pass, you would get this skin. And that's going to be your incentive. The skin won't offer any advantages or anything like that. But if you pay, like in Clash of Clans, you buy the season pass, you get rewards all along the way, just like in Diablo Immortal. And at the end, there's a skin, which is like your payoff, you know? For me, that's the only reason I get it, because I don't need any of the enhancements, but I like to get the skin and the gem buff, of course. But it would be cool if they did something like that. They could do it with pets, because most likely pets have never in the past had any buffs. It was just an idea, probably a bad one. But,
I like pets. I like that. I'm kind of lazy, though. Just like you said, right? Like, picking up the gold, it's so nice to have a pet like run around and get it for you. So I really hope that they bring that back. You know what also would be cool? I'm not really into the buffs, to be honest with you, because I feel like that'll probably cause an uproar with the community. But I do like the idea. I don't know if you ever played like Torchlight. I like the idea of like the pet holding some of the gear. So like if you're running around and doing stuff, you could like load some of the gear onto the pet and maybe send them back to town so they can like, drop the gear off for you like in some smarter way. That would be kind of cool. Maybe that and picking up gold. I think it just makes your life a little bit easier. I feel like that would be really cool.
Yeah, a quality of life pet, really. It doesn't give you any strength advantage, but it gives you advantages for quality of life. So it's going to be a little bit easier and less annoying to play. Although, like, things like the blacksmith, he's really, like, available everywhere. So when people talk about, am I going to fill up my pack? I played for, like, 80 hours. And there's only once that I filled up my pack and couldn't pick something up, and that's because I just wasn't really paying attention. But every time you run a rift, the blacksmith pops up and you could sell everything that you want, so you don't have to leave anything behind. Every time that you're out in the world, there's places you can get to the blacksmith. You could teleport right back. It's easy. So that's true. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that are already there for quality of life. I think they definitely were thinking quality of life. But pets, I would like to see pets. Top tier battle pass. If you spend $5 at the end of the battle pass, or even the number 1 tier, buy the battle pass. The first thing you get is your pet. The last thing you get is a skin, and then you get all the rewards in the middle, and that could be like the paid way. I don't know, just an idea, because that paying will give something to the people that are paying. It'll give them, an actual thing, a virtual thing, and it doesn't impact their strength in any way. So the free-to-play players, okay, they don't get the skin, they don't get the pet, but it doesn't matter. Their game is not going to change in any way. So, I think I just came up with another good idea. Thank you.
There
Thank
you
you for
go.
that comment right there. I believe that was Kevin Gore's. That was a good one. What
We
other
got
questions do we have here?
so we got Void, a Playground. He's got a good one. He says, "Do you believe that the game is still being polished, or the view is pretty much done, and maybe they're just
Mm.
working on the technical stuff?"
Well, personally, oh yeah, personally, I think the game was very polished. There was no instance of issues. I think I've only saw one issue with something weird happening, and it was when Leviathan was playing and he like walked out of the map. But that's the only thing that I saw out of like everyone. And that was one thing for 3 weeks of all of us playing that I personally saw. So I really think that the game is already polished. I think that the game is already in great shape. I think that maybe there are features that need to be added. I know that they were still exploring and thinking a lot about the different elements of PvP that they could add to the game. So that's probably still being developed, but it's not like they're developing from scratch. I think that they have these base things and they just have to like build it out a little bit to make it work. So it's not like they have to build another whole part of the game. I think all the framework is there, all the models are there. And I mean, I'm not a developer, so I don't know what's really involved in that, but I think all of the groundwork is there. They just need to kind of put the pieces together to make it work properly. And then they need to figure out how they want to successfully monetize this without being a pay to win game, because they want to be player first, gaming experience first. They don't want the free to play game thought of Diablo Immortal and the worry that everyone has about if you pay, you can really ruin the game for others to take over the experience. They want it to be great for everyone, which is great. I mean, that's what every developer should want. That no developer should make a game and say, yeah, we want to just steal everyone's money and I don't care if they have a good time. It should be, we want everyone to love our game so much that they want to spend money on the game, and then that's how we're going to make our money. And I mean, I could say from my experience, Nemo, that's exactly what they're doing right now, because the game, I mean, we didn't spend any money inside of the game. We couldn't. It wasn't even a functionable thing. There were, the battle pass bottom tier was there for us to purchase, but we couldn't do it. There were things that you could have purchased, but we couldn't do it. And I played 80 hours. I went through 4 classes. I loved it, man. And there was no point where I was saying, oh man, I feel like I need to spend money to get something. I mean, I put out a video. It's actually coming out tomorrow. And in the 10 minutes of gameplay that I was featuring in tomorrow's video, I picked up 2 legendaries. So, and just from running around the world and doing regular quests. So it's not like these things aren't going to drop. How about you, bud?
Well, this is a very, very interesting subject, right? And actually, I made a whole video just like having fun. It's actually a 30-minute video where I'm just like having fun with myself, to be honest with you. But the whole idea of this is, it's a tough one, because it's very easy for someone to default and say, well, okay, they're offering buffs, so this is pay to win, and that's it. That's what it is. I just want skins, and that's it. But I think that in this case, I really do. Like, after you watch and look at all of this stuff and look at the mechanics and see what they're doing, I feel like they're not trying to be predators. They're actually just trying to expand the game more and offer more value to people. This isn't pay to win for many reasons, right? I mean, we can talk about that. I mean, realistically, at the end of the day, we this is a very high level picture. We don't know exactly, like you said, nothing costs money. We don't know what's going to cost, where all the mechanics are going to be, how we're going to get the legendary crest. Are there other modes? What is going on with that? So there's no really like a good way to say, okay, yes, it is or it isn't. So, but if you actually look at this and you start looking at the high level that we see from now, I don't think it's pay to win. There are many different ways that you can actually counteract the legendary crest too. Like, one of the ways that people don't talk about is the gear itself, right? When you upgrade the gear, like you said, you get legendaries from playing the game, and that's the only way you can get gear. So the only way you can get gear and more gear to upgrade the gear that you have is by playing the game. And when you have a high level piece of gear, like a level 20 pants and etc., and then you had to grind for that. So there's no way to buy anything to get that. And then you have a guy who, let's say in this case, and we don't know, but let's say the legendary crest, you get 1,000 legendary crests, you spam them in, you get all max gems. And then you have a guy here who day one has max gems, and you have a guy who grinded and got all of this gear. I think it's going to counteract itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
The
think
high level gear is going to counteract the gems, in my opinion. There's a lot of different systems involved in here to say it's going to be pay to win. I really don't think it is.
no, I don't. And I mean, it's a tough balance for, and I mean, people say that Clash of Clans is pay to win. And for anyone that's actually played Clash of Clans, it's not. It's you pay to progress a little more quickly. And I want to see that kind of model here. I don't think that I feel like you always go back to this pay to win discussion. It's like a hot topic
Yep.
that everyone brings up, but really, I don't think that we are in for any issue. I may be disagreed with by some other people that have had the tech alpha, but that's my honest feeling coming from a mobile gaming background. Now, Nemo, on my main channel, my Echo Gaming channel, I just started playing a couple of kingdom builders. I'm playing State of Survival and Infinity Kingdom. In these games, you could literally spend thousands of dollars every single day with deals that come up. And in the alliance that I'm in, I have a player who is maxing out spend every day inside of the game. That means he's spending however much you could spend every day inside of the game. It's going to increase his power. That is a type of game, and that's a type of thing that Blizzard is not doing. They're not allowing that. And even in some of these games, some of them are bad pay to win. Some of them are pay to win, but also free to play players can still compete. And then you have the ones that are just not at all pay to win, that it's more of a pay to progress. Because it's really just a hard balance. Because if you're offering a free to play game, I mean, do we know how much they spent on Diablo Immortal? Was that mentioned in the investor call? Like, they were talking about millions of dollars, like lots of millions of dollars that have been spent by Blizzard on game development, and a lot of that had to go to Diablo Immortal. Now they're also, probably already working on Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 and other projects that we may not even heard of yet. But
It's an insane amount of money. It costs. I work in the field, so it is mind-boggling how much it costs to develop the game. And it isn't just, it's not like you pay some guy who is just sitting there and coding and says, okay, well, I'm just going to start developing. There are people that you have to pay, like the artists, right? The people that develop the stories, the voice actors, the cartoonists, the storyboard people. Then you have to pay the developers. There's fields and fields of developer fields that you have to go through all kinds of different levels. And there's codings, there are testers, then you have the project managers, the business aspects. Then you have the marketing. You know what? It costs millions and millions of dollars. I mean, one developer salary is like 100, especially in Cali, we're talking like 140K easily. And that's a year one guy who's coding. You have what, 1,000 of them?
jeez.
How much that costs?
Yeah, it costs a lot of money to make games. And even let's think about like really crappy mobile games, like ones that are just like garbage. They even cost a lot of money to make. And if it's someone that's building it themselves, it may not cost a lot of money because they're doing it themselves, but it takes them forever to complete it because they're doing it all themselves. So even for the lowest quality mobile games, it still costs a lot of money to bring these things out and to actually get them out there. Plus, something we never even really touched on was you could have the best mobile game, and if you don't advertise the thing, it's never going to grow. Unfortunately, that's how it works on mobile. That's how it works everywhere. You can have this gem, and there are a couple on the market that I've come in contact with. I'll actually mention them in a second, but where the developers don't have a budget to advertise, which means they're not going to be putting it on Facebook. They're not going to be paying content creators for sponsored content. They're not going to be advertising on Google. People just never find them. The App Store is so deep that people will never find those games. And I'm talking about Madfinger Games. They make amazing games. Some of those being Shadowgun Legends and Shadowgun War Games. Shadowgun Legends, one of my favorite mobile games. Amazing looking arena shooter. The game is incredible. I actually covered it in my main channel for a while, but the developers didn't have any budget or didn't want to spend budget on advertising, and the game never blew up. With all the potential it had, with how amazing the game was, it never blew up because the advertising wasn't there. So even after development happens, you have to think about how many millions are they going to have to spend on advertising just so that people could see this amazing thing? Because they can't rely on me, Nemo, Riker, Bloodshed to just put out videos and that's how it gets out. Like, yeah, we have some reach, but not like Google advertising reach. It's a whole different ball game, and for that, you got to pay a ton of money. I mean, I think back to Clash of Clans and my good friend Cleric Dragoon. He found Clash of Clans during the Super Bowl because they had an advertisement. They spent on an advertisement slot in the Super Bowl. That's how we found Clash of Clans, and that's how, that was one of the ways that Clash of Clans blew up, because literally everyone that watches the Super Bowl saw the ad. It was probably really fitting because it was like, whoa, this is like amazing game on my phone. I could play this on my phone. It was like 8 years ago. So
I remember that commercial. I remember that.
Do you?
Right? That was when with the guy who said, "I'm coming for you," right? from that. Well, I remember that. It was an awesome commercial.
Yeah, and so point is, not only are we spending or are they spending on development costs, but they have to spend afterward. Once the game is done, they have to spend on promotion. And then they have to continuously spend on fixing things, making new content, which is why PvP is so important, because when you have a heavy PvP element of the game, like Call of Duty, where you could just drop into a world or do team deathmatch, you don't need to make changes all the time, because every time you play, you have different opponents. It's a different experience, which is why I've spent thousands of hours playing multiplayer Call of Duty over the years. And you know what my favorite maps are? The original ones, the ones that I always played, the ones that I knew every nook and cranny of, where I could feel like I can get a little bit of an advantage. New maps come out and I'm suddenly a noob again because I need to figure it out. So even with a PvP element to the game, you're going to get people that are competitive, which is like everyone that wants to win and that wants to do well. So that's why I think that PvP is great. And we do have Ren Same asking, how was the PvP experience? And we saw just a very little bit. And honestly, it wasn't polished. It was an event that popped up. You and your squad faced you and this squad. It wasn't balanced in any way. It was no like ranking or matchmaking system for it. And you just went at it and won a chest. So it was a very tiny piece. It was like a little Easter egg type piece of content there. But man, I don't know if I went off on tangent there or not. I know I like to talk about this stuff sometimes. I'm realizing how I've been able to make content for a year without even having the game. Just like I could just not shut up and just talk about nothing. So
No, it's good. I mean, you made good points. The PvP thing too. That was it's a pop-up event, so we didn't actually have a mode to get into. Like it was one of those little like things that popped up every once in a while. In fact, it was timed, I believe, at Billifin, right? I think it was Levy, right? He set up actual alarm clocks to go and get those chests because it guaranteed you a legendary if you won. Which was the cool part about it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there's definitely cool parts to it, but in my opinion, they need a matchmaking system. They need a lobby, just like we know in other games. So you go there by yourself with your squad and you lobby up, and it's going to be 5v5, or it's going to be battle royale, or it's going to be war 50v50. Man, that would be, I can't get over it. If they do that, I will be the happiest guy. It would be like, it's like War Wednesday on Twitch. We're streaming all day. We're going to war. We're crushing everyone. Now, we have ARAEBG in the chat on Twitch saying, when is WoW Mobile? And this brings up something else too, not really about Diablo Immortal, but they've mentioned it before. Plus they teased it, or they didn't tease it. They announced it, I guess, in the development call, that they have other games coming to mobile and that their plan is to bring their games to mobile. Not that they're going off of platform of PC or of console, but that mobile is the future. We all know this. Mobile is going to be, in 5 years, I predict it's going to be it's already the majority, but the heavy majority of gaming is going to go on mobile. Now, I wonder if it's going to be cross-platform. So like, let's say WoW suddenly becomes WoW Mobile and you could play against people on their PC, or if it's going to be WoW Mobile and it's just going to be a world of WoW on mobile, but not cross-platform. Diablo Immortal is not cross-platform. It's only on mobile. Maybe that's because they want to dive straight into mobile, put all their focus into mobile, and make this the poster child for what they're going to be able to do on mobile. That's my thought right there. They want to do just a mobile focus. And then in the future, I mean, there's many games that are cross-platform. I mean, Fortnite had Fortnite Mobile and it was cross-platform. Now, Fortnite in many app stores is gone right now because of app store issues, but you know, it's definitely something that's doable. And by the time, like, think about Diablo Immortal, Nemo. This game was announced 2 years ago. We're still waiting, talking about the earliest it comes out is in 6 months. So we haven't even heard announcements of WoW, of StarCraft, of Overwatch. We haven't heard any official announcements on any of these games. So really, I don't think that, you know, we're going to hear in 6 months Overwatch is coming to mobile. No, I don't think that's the Blizzard way. You know, I think we'll definitely know way ahead of time to talk about it. But to answer the question from the chat, I think that all games that have been successful by Blizzard, which is most, will be on mobile. I mean, we already have Hearthstone, which is a port, but it's still on mobile. Very playable, like really good on mobile as well. Diablo's brought their franchise to mobile. I could see Overwatch, because I could totally see Blizzard wanting to have a shooter in the mobile space. It's the most popular mobile genre, with PUBG Mobile, with Call of Duty Mobile, with Free Fire, some of the most popular mobile games. And they already are with Activision in with Call of Duty. And then bringing WoW, one of the biggest games of all time, onto mobile. My God. Not only would it be amazing for gamers, but think about the amount of money that they would make from that, Nemo. But the one game that I think they may not bring is oh man, why did I just went blank on the name? What was it, Nemo? What were we talking about?
We were talking about it before, right? With the Blizz launcher.
Yeah. What was that game? Heroes of the Storm.
Reason
Reason being, there's a lot of heavy competition in that genre, like League of Legends. You know, that's coming to mobile. Heroes of the Storm was not the biggest hit for Blizzard. I mean, it did well. It's still being supported. It's still making the money, but it wasn't a massive hit. So if they were to hold one back, I would say maybe it would be Heroes of the Storm, just because of the monsters already there. Because you can't say, like we're saying with Diablo Immortal. I'm going to let you talk after this, Nemo. I need a break. But like we're saying with Diablo Immortal's coming. It's going to be the best action RPG on mobile, hands down. There's nothing better. With Heroes of the Storm, they have to compete with League of Legends and other like Arena of Valor, Mobile Legends games that have been like monsters there that are really done well. And to bring a franchise like Heroes of the Storm that wasn't one of their heaviest hitters, they may not be as confident saying this is going to be the number one in its genre. So I don't know. I could be wrong. It's just my thoughts. But Nemo, I'm taking a break. I'm drinking my coffee and my new Echo mug. Talk.
By the way, I got that Echo mug. Well, it's on the way. I think I got that one. I think it's that one.
Yeah, this is the one you got, man.
Sweet. Okay. This is what I think. At the Q3 financial call, when I was listening for the entire hour, they talked a lot. Okay, and they talked about mobile being their new frontier, so to speak. And this is Activision Blizzard. So of course, Call of Duty is involved in that. And if you really listen to the calls and you listen to all of the financials that Activision and Blizzard have been talking, is they basically pioneered and made Call of Duty Mobile their first mobile game to come out. It made them billions of dollars now at this point. And if you listen to the Q3 financial, what they stated was the Call of Duty paved the way for all the rest of the mobile devices in their free-to-play premium model is what they call it. Free-to-play games with premium content. And most of the players are getting engaged in that, not just in the mobile market, to be honest with you, but as well as the PC and the console market, with Warzone being like the biggest thing ever for them. So because of that, they're basically lining up all the rest of the mobile games to follow that. The Diablo Immortal, being the first Blizzard mobile game, is going to follow this sort of a stance. But they did state at the Q3 financial call that all of and they said, I mean, I'm quoting, all of the Blizzard games will be going to mobile at some point or another. So does that mean the WoW will be going to mobile? Maybe not in the same way the WoW is set up for the PC, right? It is super open world. It is very crazy. It requires a lot of servers and this and that. Mobile is there, but maybe it'll be in a different type of, maybe they'll, like the way like it is over here. If you look at Diablo Immortal, you can have tens of thousands of players on one server. The same way you can have it on a PC. So I don't see why you couldn't. Maybe in a different type of format, but I'm telling you, I think all of Blizzard games are going to be going to mobile. They know that's the future. They know that they can make the money that way, and they've already paved the way with Call of Duty. Now, Diablo Immortal is going to be their next thing. I think they're going to be really looking at Immortal and seeing how it does, and maybe the rest of the Blizzard games will kind of follow suit, depending on what and how things work with Immortal. But they already know that, like I said, they made. I believe it's $400 million with Call of Duty Mobile within the first quarter that it came out in 2020. $400 million.
I mean, that's kind of pocket change. That's not really that much money, Nemo. I mean, it's about equivalent to a YouTuber salary, right?
Yeah, no, it's not good.
Yeah, no, I mean, mobile is the way. It gets in the hands of everyone. In 5 years, literally everyone's going to have a mobile phone, unless if you're in like a depressed area. Even if it's older phones, like they're capable. Like Blizzard has always done a nice job of being able to have you play their games on devices that aren't high end. You don't need high end devices to play everything, and I think they're going to be following the same suit with mobile. By the way, someone was asking before about BlizzCon, and I do have the card right here for BlizzCon Line, and if any of you want to be part of that, I will be there. I already told my wife, hon, I need the days. It's pretend I'm not here. I'm locking myself in the office, and I am at BlizzCon. And we have February 19th at 2 p.m. Pacific time. That's when it starts. And then on February 20th at 12 p.m. Pacific time, a 2-day event. its virtual BlizzCon line. Plus, I'm going to take a moment right now to talk about the sponsors of today's video. Check these out. Dreadscythe, in the last podcast, was talking about accessories for mobile, and he didn't really know because he was a PC guy. Well, I told him about some things, and I thought maybe I should reach out to this sponsor. So I did. I reached out to Mobile Gaming Corp, and I've now been partnered with them. You could use code ECHO over at Mobile Gaming Corp, get 10% off of anything. We're talking about iPhone-related cases that are made for gaming, cables and accessories for all different phones with the gamer in mind, and these claw socks, which I'm telling you what, I initially got these things, and I was like, these things are kind of cheesy, like they're goofy looking. But they are really amazing for those long gameplay sessions, so you don't stick. You kind of smooth right over the screen. It's really comfortable. I mean, I'm wearing them now to show them off. I'm not actually gaming in them now, but really great. There's a link down below if you want to be part of that. That is today's sponsor in this podcast. Nemo, take it away.
Well, thank you. All right. Couple of questions I want to answer right away. We do not know when the game is coming out. We just talked about it. Well, we're predicting sometime between August and later on. There will be controller support. They did state that they're going to, add controller support, just not yet because, like I said, I think we mentioned this before in the alpha test and in the rest of the test. What they're going to do is basically like concentrate on specific areas that they want to test. So for the alpha, they were testing certain phones and certain features, and most of them included on-screen controls. So they did not want us to like plug in controllers and use them because they wanted us to test. So this is why a lot of people are freaking out maybe and saying, oh, well, it says, if you go to the store, it says it's not compatible with your phone. It's not compatible right now. As we get closer and closer to beta, they're going to be releasing that list and making it wider and wider and available for more and more devices. So most likely, there isn't a list yet, but most likely at some point, all the mid-tier devices, phones and tablets, are going to be able to run Immortal. That's the goal. They're not going to be just like, oh, let's just run them on the highest end devices, because of course that's going to restrict the amount of people that can play the game. So most likely it's going to run on like as many devices as possible, but we don't have a list yet. Those are the most questions that I've seen so far.
Yeah, and you know something crazy. I have a bit of a hater that I actually have a video coming out tomorrow on haters of Diablo Immortal. So Charles, watch that video. I want to get to that, but first I want to say my son plays Brawl Stars a lot. He has an old phone of mine. It's an Android phone. It must be 5 or 6 years old. Nemo, he booted up and downloaded Brawl Stars on that old phone. Like, it's not good. And he played it. No lag, no nothing. So, I mean, I know that Diablo Immortal and the team is like looking at Supercell and how they've really done games well on mobile and seen success. And I mean, I could see them taking the same thing where you can go on, pick up some old crap phone and really be able to have a game experience, lower the settings and be able to play the game. So just to touch on that. So now Charles mentions, and listen, I've always said in the channel before, we have people that are going to hate on Diablo Immortal and we have people that are going to love it. And I have no problem addressing both the haters and the people. And he says that he thinks that Diablo Immortal is a dead project. He's heard nothing about it since 1 week in, and he doesn't think that Blizzard cares about games. Now, first of all, every company makes mistakes at some point. I mean, I personally don't have anything that I am going to talk about Blizzard making mistakes in the past, but every company, every person does things wrong. You learn from your mistakes and you move on from them, and you try and not make those same mistakes again, right? Now, Diablo Immortal, they've been quiet about this intentionally. Just because they're quiet doesn't mean that nothing is going on. Like, these guys are working on this project every day from home, on top of it. And as far as a dead project goes, the only way that, in my opinion, Diablo Immortal will fail is if they spend zero money, on advertising. It's still gonna, no matter what, Diablo Immortal is gonna be the best action RPG on mobile devices, probably forever. We do have Path of Exile mobile coming, who knows when, but that's going to be a competitor, of course. But Diablo Immortal is going to be the best. If it's the biggest, that depends on the advertisement budget and how much the word gets out, events that they want to sponsor, things like that. So I think that as far as the game not being good, not being produced, or being dead, or not coming out, like, that's far gone. They've already commit to this is happening. They said it in their investor call to the people spending millions. This is going to happen. Nemo, you want to chime in?
I do, just really quick. Sorry to interrupt. That is one point. They did state in the financial call, and unless they're suicidal, they're not going to say that to the investors and then not come up with a. I mean, It's just not going to happen. That's just the way it works. Stock goes down, and that's not how things work in the financial world. They have to follow up on their promises. But I think I'm going to speak from the personal point of view here. Before I would say, okay, you could say things like that, but I actually met with the development team of Diablo Immortal, and I'm going to tell you that they are the most caring people I've met with a lot of different developers, and these people are a breath of fresh air. I'm not getting paid. I'm not getting anything from them, to be honest with you. Yeah, early access to the game. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But I have no reason to lie. And I'm telling you that they love this game. They love it more than we do. It's like their baby, and they really care for it. And they want to make sure that it comes out and is as perfect as possible. I've never seen somebody be so OCD about their product. Like I said, it's like their baby. So they want to make sure it's the best and it's perfect and it's great for everybody. They want everyone to play the game. It's to be the biggest and best game. There's no way they don't care.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's funny because to see the responses and to hear the responses from the development team and from Wyatt, they went into the tech alpha. They've had nothing but hate up to then. The announcement was hate, the wait is hate, mobile is hate. Of course, Wyatt, this has been his project for years. He's worried. He's like, oh no, we're sending out the tech alpha. I really hope that everyone likes it. And he was concerned. And just to see how happy, with a breath of fresh air, like, oh my God, 3 years on this project, we finally know that people like it. It was just really cool. It was really nice.
It was almost, I mean, I'm going to use this word. It's probably not a good word to use, but it was kind of almost cute. Almost like, I don't have a child, but when you get the kid to school and get him ready and he, the first day he goes to school, you make sure he's got the lunchbox and everything is good and you got the hat on, you're going to make sure that you're nice and you talk to everybody, you send them out. That was like Wyatt, man. When the game came out, it was just like it. It was like, I'm literally, I think it's just like his baby. I love that. I love seeing that from the developer.
Yeah, and first of all, Nemo's right. Second of all, you could tell Nemo doesn't have children because really, that first day when you're putting in the bus, you're thinking, finally, I get some time for myself. And that's why the parents are so happy that they're getting on the bus. People that aren't parents think it's that cute moment. But Nemo, one day, my friend, you'll see the truth, buddy. But yeah, but he's right though. Like it was exciting. And I did have another point I wanted to just make, but I forgot what it was. Sadly, I got sidetracked by my funny moments. But yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not just here on YouTube hyping up a game that I hope is going to be good. I'm here hyping up and legitimately sharing with everyone my excitement for the game. I went to BlizzCon 2019. I played it. I said, my God, this thing is going to be amazing. And that day I invested in my channel and I said, this is what is going to be the future. It's been over a year of me like really promoting this, and not even promoting it, but just kind of talking about it, building community. And no, my channel's not huge now. My main channel pays the bills. This channel is like become a passion project that I think once the game comes out is going to be like my main channel, because this is what I am in love with right here, playing Diablo Immortal. And that's really all I'm doing. I'm talking about what I know, building a community. That's why I'm always inviting you guys to come through the Discord server. Red October is someone that's there all the time, sharing, talking, asking questions. And it's just really great. But just to clarify, people that hate the game, I don't have any ill feelings about you guys. I mean, people that hate the game and are just always in the comments or chat like being jerks about it, like that's annoying. But if you don't like it, that's great. But I did put out a video saying you can't argue that the game is bad until you try it. Try the game, and if you think it's bad, then it's fine, because everyone has their opinion. Maybe you won't like how it plays, and that's fair. But you have to get your hands on it and give it a shot before you can actually argue the points, because there's a difference in watching gameplay like we're watching right now and playing the gameplay. Like you could be watching this and saying, wow, it looks cool, but maybe the controls suck, or maybe it just doesn't feel good. But when you play it and you realize it looks good, it's got depth, the controls are on point, it feels comfortable, it feels natural. It literally is in my opinion, if they put all the PvP in the way that I'm hoping, it will be the perfect mobile game. It will be the game that you will see me streaming every day, not because I'm trying to build up an audience from streaming, which would be cool, but because I'm going to be playing it. So I may as well be streaming it, right? If I'm playing the game, I'll be playing it with you guys. And that's it. That's my whole thing about people that hate in the game. Now, again, I did put out a video tomorrow. It's going to be out tomorrow, talking about people who hated and threw hate in the game from the release, people who threw hate in the game from the weight, and now people that are throwing hate in the game because in the App Store it says that their phones are not usable. And really, there's this easy solution for all of this, and that is put it in everyone's hand and let them then see if they still hate the game. And if they do, then that's fine. You don't have to play. But if you don't, well, and hopefully you can enjoy it, because even if you're a PC exclusive gamer, you could still enjoy a Diablo Immortal in the in-between times in your day. You know, like when you just want to be at work and just want to mess around your phone a little bit, or you want to go to the bathroom and spend a half an hour in there to get away from the kids. You could do that kind of stuff. So now I remember my point before. I talked about how advertising could hold back Immortal if they don't, do advertising properly or enough, or spend enough on advertising, because nowadays that's really everything. Action RPGs in this region are not typically the most popular things on mobile. Let's talk about Mobile Legends, and we could talk about League of Legends Mobile, my prediction on that, and let's talk about Arena of Valor. Arena of Valor specifically, one of the biggest games in the world, but not in the United States. It did not have a large launch here. It didn't do well here in the US because MOBAs on mobile just typically haven't worked well here. Arena of Valor, amazing game, beautiful game, polished game, great game, but it just didn't thrive here. Was advertising done here? I personally never saw an advertisement for it. Maybe that's part of the reason why. Did they focus their audience in Asia and other countries like that? Maybe, but I'm not sure. The question is action RPGs. They are not typically the most popular genres on mobile here in the United States. So, do you think, Nemo, that action RPGs are going to have the audience on mobile here?
Well, that's a good question, because you're right. Generally speaking, action RPGs do not have that type of audience, but it's for several reasons, right? Because I feel like yes and no. No, they won't. But I think at the same time, in a mobile market, we don't really have a game that has really stepped up, the mobile market games, right? We don't really have a AAA game that's anywhere near this. So I feel like this is going to draw a lot more people. I have friends who are not really hardcore Diablo players who wouldn't really play the PC version of this because they're like, it's not really my cup of tea. They're going to play this. They're excited about this. They watched the video. They said, oh, I'm not really an action RPG player, but this looks kind of cool. I could be a wizard and run around and do this type of stuff. It seems like the game has enough for a lot of different players, not just the hardcore people like myself and you and Dread and all of those guys who are going to jump in, and Levy, who sets alarm clocks around chest openings. But they're going to be players who's going to jump in and hang out, like you said, at doctor's office, whatever, play with their friends. And being the fact that it's on mobile, I feel like it is going to explode the market. And being the fact that it's the first game that it really brings in that AAA experience. You mentioned that before. We can't really describe this. You have to play it to really see. This is an amazing game. I didn't believe it, or I didn't understand it before when you were talking to me about, you were at Blizzcon, you played this game and all that. I was like, oh, I'll play Raziel. Is it like Raziel? And you're like, no. I'm like, yeah. Is it like this? And you're like, no. I'm like, well, what do you mean? No. Is it like, what about it is no? And you're like, it's just not that game. It's very difficult to explain, but it's super polished, and everything about it, the sounds, the feels, the looks, the way it plays, how you were immersed in the game, the controls of it makes you feel like you're inside of the game. And I feel like, honestly, like the best mobile experience. So I feel like it could, if the advertising is done right and people see this game, a lot of people that are casual players, they're going to play it because it's just awesome. And when they do, it's going to hook them, I feel like. So yes, I do, in a long way of saying, yes, I do think that it's going to have that potential.
Yeah, and Nemo said it really well there, because I am sitting here talking about how awesome it is and all that, and he was comparing it. Like, I remember bringing Raziel to the channel, comparing Raziel Dungeon Arena to Diablo Immortal. And I like Raziel. I think it's a fun game. And I was like, Nemo, try this, because this is probably the closest thing we're going to get to Diablo Immortal. So he's like, okay, so this is what Diablo Immortal's like. And he's right. I said, no, it's not. But this is really as close as we can get to it. I mean, if the best way to explain it is if you take Diablo 3, you bump it up into the current time, you add a bunch of features to it and make it better, that's what Diablo Immortal is like. But really, it's even still hard to feel that, to really to think about that, because, it's just so different. Now, a game that's full, complete, done well on mobile, that could be comparable, but also is very different, is Genshin Impact. It's not an action RPG dungeon crawler. It's more of an MMO fantasy type game, but it's done very well. It's going to be a game that could have much long success, and it's a full gaming experience. It's not what people would typically think of a mobile gaming experience. So that would be like comparing it to that. Now that is cross-platform as well, so you have people on all platforms playing it with people on mobile, but you really can't compare Diablo Immortal to anything. And we saw people saying about MOBAs being the most popular. Maybe they may be the most popular, but I'm talking about here in the United States, they are not the most popular on mobile. At least I don't think so. I could be wrong there, but I mean, there's a reason why like there's no massive content creators for Arena of Valor or Mobile Legends that are US based. I think, in my opinion, and I guess I should say it's an opinion because I didn't do research, like I didn't do hard research, but shooters, and casual mobile games like Candy Crush, which is another one that is Activision and Blizzard focused. Those are the most popular. Probably the casual games that you just get people that are like flicking through at night are the most popular on mobile. Then it's going to be shooters like Call of Duty Mobile, PUBG Mobile, things like that. And yeah, so I don't think MOBAs, at least here, are huge. They're huge over in Asia and other parts of the world, but not here in the US. That's what I was meaning by that. But Nemo, I know that we've been talking a lot. We've had a lot of questions. Any last things that we want to say? Because we are coming up on the hour, and this is an hour show. Remember, guys, this is going to be, I'm recording it right now. I'm going to be uploading it to my YouTube channel. It'll be up on the channel in a few hours. If you missed the beginning, if you missed us talking about predicted release dates, that you could check out when it goes live as a video. We don't want to just continuously repeat ourselves here. But Nemo, any last things that you want to say before we head on out, or questions that you want to address?
The one last question that we had, they were talking about speaking. So in alpha, in this game, you're able to talk via text. You're actually able to send voice messages within the game itself. It's really cool. We were testing it out a little bit. So if that was your question, that's kind of how it was. We also have our own Discord for the Blizzard people that are connected. And most of the time, me and Echo were on voice, or he was on live stream, and we were chatting that way. But you can totally chat within the game. You can send voice messages and all that. It's really kind of cool and intuitive and works really smooth. We tried it a few times. I've actually tried it with 3 or 4 different players. It's like really cool. Honestly, I've never seen something like that on mobile. Works pretty smooth. I think you're going to enjoy it once you get into the game. So will you need Discord? I mean, it's kind of cool to have Discord because it gives you a bit more, but you will be able to chat on voice in game. So that was one of the questions we had, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, the in-game communication systems are unparalleled. I think they're some of the best that we've seen yet, and we didn't mess with them much. We played with them a little bit, but we came to my server, and which is what I'm always gonna do. I mean, that's how I like to do it, and we got on voice there, and that's how we play. But yes, there's gonna be a great in-game element to discussion there. But Nemo, before we go, Red just brought something up, and this is something that we haven't really touched on here inside of the Immortal podcast, and that I'd like to, and that is random questions that just pop up. So my question to you, Nemo: asparagus or Brussels sprouts?
Brussels sprouts all day long. And there's different ways to cook Brussels sprouts too. I mean, it depends. I like my Brussels sprouts in the middle, not too soggy, but not too crunchy either. But I do like them cooked with some sort of a flavor, maybe a little bit of soy sauce, grilled. I don't know. I mean, you can get them in many different ways. But asparagus, it's all right, but not when Brussels sprouts are around.
I agree. Well, I agree that Brussels sprouts can have that nice, that grilled, blackened deliciousness. But I'm an asparagus guy all day, man. Asparagus for the win.
Asparagus for the win.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always loved it. Whatever. Listen, we've gotten off tangent, but guys, this is why I love the Immortal podcast, because it's about connecting with you guys as a community. I could sit here, Nemo could sit here, and we could make videos talking about these things, but it's really nice to be able to pull in the community. And we do that even more over on the Discord server. We even have people like Nineball, Dread in there as well. If you ever have questions about, old school Diablo stuff, where for me, I'm not an old school Diablo player. I'm never trying to say that I am. I played some Diablo 3, but not like these guys. I know Nemo played a ton of it, but I don't even think Nemo played as much as like Nineball and Dread. So like if you have those lore questions or those veteran questions, come on through the Discord, tag those guys. They're awesome. Great guys. We're going to have them back on here for the podcast again at some point in time as well. But yeah, come through the Discord server. It's linked down below. If you're watching this as a video, it's going to be the pinned comment. And that'll be great. Plus, I just got some merch too. Nemo said that he grabbed it. I got my cup, got a bunch of shirts. I think, can I? Ah, see, there's one of my shirts right there in the background. If you want them, that's going to be a pinned comment too. I mean, I picked up a few. Not saying you have
I got
to.
that one. I
You
got
did.
that. I cannot wait. I'm gonna wear. I'm gonna be a total fanboy and wear it in one of these podcasts. I mean, I hope you
Oh,
guys don't judge.
Nemo is a 100% fanboy, just so you know.
I am.
He's been exposed. But
Yep.
listen, we're out of here for today. I hope you enjoyed episode 8 of the Immortal Podcast. Nemo, last things before we head out.
Nah, I just want to say that thank you guys so much for stopping by. I always have a blast hanging out here with everyone. Love you all. This is really exciting. Diablo Immortal 2021. Here we go. I can't wait. So see you all next episode.
Yeah, it was said, I think, by Sirocco that something about how I've been grinding it and building community, and he appreciates that. And you know what? Maybe it's going to pay off this year, and we'll actually have a nice channel with a growing community here for Diablo Immortal. Either way, I'm going to be here playing the game, making content for it every single day, as is my boy Nemo. Thank you guys so much for coming to the podcast, and make sure you come to both of our channels for videos every single day, some of which we even collaborate on, which is always fun as well. But we're out. Thank you guys. I appreciate all of you. Have a great day and be good.